Stef Penney's acclaimed mystery novel, The Tenderness of Wolves, 2006, delves into the dark underbelly of a small rural town, exposing corruption, greed, and injustice. Garnering recognition as the winner of the 2006 Costa Book Award and the Costa Book Award for First Novels, the book's expansive narrative, genre-bending plot, and well-drawn characters have garnered critical acclaim. Penney, a British writer, gained prominence through this work, having previously studied television at Bournemouth College of Art and directed 2 short films before embarking on her career as a novelist. Notably, during the writing of The Tenderness of Wolves, Penney battled with agoraphobia. Set in Canada's Northern Territory in 1867, the story unfolds in the remote town of Dove River. The readers are introduced to Laurent Jammet, a French trapper who sought solace and tranquility in Dove River after a disabling accident terminated his service with the Hudson Bay Company. Despite his aspirations for a peaceful existence, the townsfolk consider him eccentric for purchasing a piece of land believed to be cursed due to the mysterious death of its previous owner. When Laurent's lifeless body is discovered in his cabin by a local woman named Mrs. Ross, with tracks leading into the unforgiving tundra, she assumes the killer fled in that direction. Anxious to solve the crime, she promptly seeks out the town magistrate, Andrew Knox. However, the crime scene lacks substantial evidence, leaving Andrew at a loss. He enlists the assistance of the Hudson Bay Company employees to aid in the investigation. Simultaneously, Mrs. Ross learns that her 17-year-old son, Francis, has gone missing. To the community's astonishment, Andrew identifies Francis as the prime suspect. Refusing to believe her son capable of murder, Mrs. Ross embarks on a determined quest to find Francis and bring him home safely. She turns to William Parker, Laurent's friend and fellow trapper, for support. Despite warning her that Francis, if he ventured alone, is likely deceased, William agrees to guide her across the treacherous tundra in search of her son. Mrs. Ross remains steadfast in her determination to locate her missing son, undeterred by the challenges she faces. Meanwhile, other individuals arrive in Dove River seeking answers about Laurent's fate. Among them is Thomas Sturrock, a former journalist with connections to the local tribe, who seeks access to Laurent's cabin. Thomas had a keen interest in acquiring a unique bone tablet possessed by Laurent and now plans to secure it before anyone else discovers its existence and return it to the native people. 3 additional men arrive in town: McKinley, the boss of the Hudson Bay Company, Donald, the company's accountant, and Jacob, the company's native guide. Each of them has personal motivations to unravel the mystery surrounding Laurent's demise, but their primary focus is their own personal gain. Their concerns extend little beyond that. Francis's disappearance is not an isolated incident within the community. Some years earlier, 2 sisters ventured into the tundra and never returned. Speculation arose among the townsfolk. Some believed the local wolves devoured the girls, while others entertained the possibility that they found a native tribe and chose to remain there. Mrs. Ross feels compelled to uncover the truth behind the sisters' fate, if possible, in order to bring closure to the community and allow the grieving parents to move forward. During their journey, Mrs. Ross and William encounter enigmatic characters along the way. They stumble upon a settlement of Norwegian Christians who guard their isolated yet utopian lifestyle, harboring distrust towards outsiders and wishing to preserve their way of life undisturbed. However, they hold no knowledge of Francis's whereabouts, prompting Mrs. Ross and William to continue their search. Throughout their arduous trek, Mrs. Ross shares her life story with William, confiding in him about her deep love for her son and her unwavering determination to reunite with him. She admits that her love for her husband has faded due to his neglect and mistreatment, suspecting him of infidelity. William inquires about Mr. Ross's treatment of Francis, and Mrs. Ross reluctantly acknowledges that her husband is harsh on their son, potentially contributing to his decision to run away. William offers the perspective that sometimes when people flee, they deliberately choose not to be found. However, Mrs. Ross refuses to relinquish her hope and persists in her quest. As they traverse the vast tundra, Mrs. Ross gradually realizes that her feelings for William are deepening, forming an unexpected emotional connection amidst their shared journey. William proves himself to be a courageous, kind-hearted, and compassionate companion to Mrs. Ross, treating her with utmost respect. While he reciprocates her growing affection, his intentions regarding a relationship remain uncertain. Acknowledging the intensity of emotions amidst their challenging journey, he suggests they proceed cautiously, taking things slowly. Ultimately, Mrs. Ross uncovers the truth behind Francis's disappearance, revealing a different narrative than initially suspected. Contrary to the accusations leveled against him, Francis did not commit any acts of violence. The reality is that he is gay and fled from home out of fear of his father's rejection. Francis had been involved in a secret relationship with Laurent and has since found companionship with another man. He has no intentions of returning home, as he dreads the shame and confrontation with his father. In the course of their investigation, Mrs. Ross and William stumble upon the unsettling revelation that Laurent was murdered, and his bone tablet, the object of Thomas Sturrock's interest, played a pivotal role in the crime. While Mrs. Ross remains focused on exonerating Francis and clearing his name, she shows little interest in pursuing the identity of the true perpetrator. The murder's connection to the Hudson Bay Company becomes apparent, hinting at deeper layers of intrigue and corruption. The fate of the missing sisters remains shrouded in uncertainty, leaving their ultimate outcome unresolved. However, it is strongly implied that they found refuge and established new lives for themselves within a native tribe, forging a path separate from the community they left behind. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.